You mentioned, Chris, the competitive sale process. Let's gonna walk through that and really give detail to how it works, what it looks like, how it influences deals.
Sure. I guess the way I think about things and kind of our company mantra really is that, that a fair, structured, competitive sale process is going to generate the best results, consistently. You know, whether there's it's a, one-on-one sale or, kind of a industry type in investment bank led sale or, a government lease sale. I mean, you kind of think about things on a spectrum, right? Where the seller wants to get the most exposure and the most, qualified bids and the highest possible value. And then from a buyer's perspective, kind of don't want the competition. I like to go, I like to go to the bars and nightclubs where like there's a whole bunch of good looking girls there. I'm the only girl. I'm the only guy there.
Yeah.
Like I don't want the competition. When you're
You don't want to be
buying,
over next to the Air Force base, you know?
right? Yeah, exactly,
You need to be
exactly.
like to next to the ladies' college.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, so from a buyer's perspective, you're always looking to, all right, I need to build a relationship with this company, and they need to give me. Hopefully, they'll give me first shot to make my best offer. And a lot of deals are continue to be done that way.
Does
And
that be, I'm sorry, Chris. So like on that point, if you guys list something, you mentioned you had Indigo, you had, kind of
Mhm.
more your boutique tailored. Is that, are you guys marketing transactions that never show up on the platform that
Sometimes,
they
yeah,
bid on?
yeah, yeah.
That kind of falls in that Indigo model where those guys will reach out to you, have an asset that they're wanting to market. You guys selectively reach out to, the right buyers and try to work deals for them.
Yes, that's exactly right. So,
Okay.
I guess in that sense, and you kind of mentioned earlier, but like with kind of this pulse of the market, if I know that every single person that participated in the Bureau of Land Management, Wyoming lease sale and the state of Wyoming lease sale, and, we've done these 20 other transactions for operated and non-operated assets in the state of Wyoming. And I have all the data rooms and I have everybody look at the data room and all the bidders and who the high bidder was and who the runner up bidder was. I have a lot of kind of data at my fingertips. So, a company may call us and say, hey, we're looking to, we're going to kind of keep this deal private or, we don't want our name in lights. Can you go out to, maybe your top 10 buyers and see if we can get a deal done here. So we do some private deals like that. I mean, uh, I would rather them be, full marketed exposure.
Yeah.
I think my chances of success on getting a closed transaction are better that way. But definitely, we can use our intel and knowledge to, kind of pinpoint and target buyers that we think should be the right buyers, the most logical buyers, and should be willing to pay the most. I think there's a perception sometimes that if you put it out, you're going to get tire kickers, you're going to get lowball bidders or
Right,
whatnot. But
right.
I mean, just the nature of the platform and kind of how the mechanics work. I
Yeah.
mean, they just sips. I mean, the cream rises to the top. Like
Cream rises to the top. Yeah.
we may get 20 bids, and there may be some lowball bids or some tire kickers, but we're not advancing the conversations with them. We're talking. It just
Yeah.
if you're doing that on your own, you may trying to sell an oil and gas deal. Like I think a lot of sellers in their mind think like, all right, this company, like name a hot
Yeah.
company at any given time. Like this
Yeah.
one's going to be the one that's really going to pay us the most. And if we can get a deal down with them, just bypass all this stuff. And usually that's not the case. And they'll either slow play you or they won't give you the best offer off the bat, or they know they don't have any competition. So they're kind of, biding their
We're
time or just,
landmen. We're
yeah.
landmen.
So
It
you
just,
kind of
you
know,
have to do that.
you kind of know the dynamic of it. But if there's a fixed ending time, like, on, April 30th, sealed bids are due and the seller's going to move forward. And if you're not in the mix, you may not be getting the property and that opportunity is gone. So, just kind of creating that environment, helps get deals done and
And
helps,
like as part of the structure, do you guys, I'm interested like on the PSA because we see deals fall apart all the time on PSA.
yep,
The money guys will make a deal and then
yep,
the
yep.
lander it just can't get on the PSA. Do you guys establish some structure there on some of your transactions where like this is the predisposed PSA? If you're a buyer or seller, this is what you're gonna
Yeah,
live by.
that's a really good point, and that's really has been kind of a secret to our success and kind of a secret sauce. And I guess starting with for when I say auction, what I mean by that is it's a transparent bid auction on the EnergyNet platform. Most of those assets will have a minimum reserve price, so the seller can set a minimum reserve price. But the key there, the secret sauce, is that for those transactions, we essentially, the buyer signs a buyer agreement and the seller signs a seller agreement. The seller agreements, does two things. It's engaging us to give us authority to market and sell the property at a certain price, but it also serves as like kind of a quasi bilateral purchase and sale agreement. EnergyNet buyer agreement, EnergyNet seller agreement, work together, and they both point to the seller's outgoing conveyance as the controlling document of the sale. If other things aren't said, like, so our buyer and seller agreement says, how effective dates will work and how oil in the tank will work and how pref rights and how consents to assign and how title will work and how environmental will work. So it's like, if the whole oil and gas industry could just say, hey, we're all going to sign this one PSA for every single deal, and we can make minor tweaks to it. So what that allows us to do, and we originally did it we don't want to be negotiating a PSA on every single transaction, especially if it's $100,000 deal, $50,000 deal, maybe even $1 million deal. To some of the big companies are like, I don't want to negotiate a PSA for that. So like having that structure of a kind of a set in stone PSA buyer seller agreement that's already pre-agreed upon. And then when we post our data rooms, here's everything, all the information, the effective dates known. If you win the asset, you meet or exceed the seller's minimum reserve price at the conclusion of the sale process. We're invoicing you, and your name's going in the blank of the assignment. You owe the funds in 2 business days. We're filing the document of record with the county. So it kind of boils everything down to just the purchase price. So if ExxonMobil's bidding on it, and Joe down the street's bidding on it, and some new private equity company's bidding on it, they're bidding on the exact same terms, exact same level playing field. So that streamlines everything. And that's what really allows us to close, 2,000, 2,500 transactions a year, because we're not
deal flow, man.